Only now I've managed to solve the last of my greatest problems I've been dealing with my whole life, but only been aware of its shaded presence for the last 7 years. I've been suffering from a problem I would dub PPP, Perfect Plan Paralysis. And it's not just as simple as being a perfectionist. In fact, the fact of being hidden in plain sight made it significantly easier to overlook and miss. Now, the symptoms it caused were easy to identify: lack of patience, accomplishment insecurities, introversion, anxiety, addictive tendencies, all or nothing approaches, escapism, and the list goes on. Most of it, if not all my bad habits I've been working on, were all fed by my PPP. Now I've identified that it's a cause of all my problems and bad habits. It almost seems as though they've all fallen away with very little effort, now that each one of them have a very clear explanation. In short, PPP occurs because of my hyperactive imagination. In a span of seconds, I can create worlds, realities, and futures for myself. It's probably the most natural thing for me to do. However, this came with an unintended consequence. My mind was always fueled with these futures and plans that were always better than where I currently was. And I would get attached to that illusion, that future. Imagine if I wanted to make a friend. I meet someone and my mind has already pre-computed what successfully achieving that will look like. Since knowing full well that just going with the flow is risky because I've pre-simulated the scenarios and I'm aware of the failure paths too, I end up subconsciously muting my own output in order to avoid making a move that would destroy my plan. Somewhat the Schrodinger's box of not knowing whether the plan will work or not induces anxiety, but also leaves potential for success on the table, whereas making a move will either prove the cat to be alive or dead, hence having the capacity to make a plan a reality, but also the possibility to rip it to shreds. Somehow, even as a young child, I'd become preconditioned to hate the plan failing, no matter how insignificant the consequence. It's painful but refreshing being able to see the cause and explanation for trying to delay making any real decisions until the perfect opportunity or strategy came along where I couldn't fail and I could go all in. It's in everything big and everything small. It explains why I was so happy to procrastinate with escapism over actually making decisions that can lead to tearing down my plans. It's crazy that the simple act of the plan dissolving was literally the only thing that carried weight, no matter how big or small the end consequence could be. It explains how I'm seemingly risk-philic for big decisions, but risk-adverse for small ones, as the only thing that had the potential to overcome PPP were major rewards. I'd be quicker to make the decision to get myself fired than make a risky joke with someone I wasn't familiar with. It's why I could end up building up something as stupid as an ego to appear that I get along with everyone, even at the cost of making close friends, and even having to put up with bullshit from narcissists. It's a strength to be accommodating, but not when it's self-inflicted. Even stupid shit like all or nothing strategies I force on myself when it comes to fitness, if anything, have completely decimated my progress. I've been a fool to not realize that everything was connected. It's why alcohol is so effective on me. It reduces the cost of plans failing down to nothing. This is actually well documented amongst many humans. This is a very common phenomenon. All this time, thinking that the drink induced a separate state of mind that I had to find a way to achieve while sober, when in reality all it did was impair my own ability to paralyze myself. My PPP is a predisposition that won't go away overnight, but now I've discovered the remedy is so simple that it will be a distant memory in no time. All I have to do is re-engineer my brain to like the uncertainty and adventure of not knowing how it might all turn out compared to my plans. If anything, this brilliantly fits in with a parallel philosophy I've been working on. I treat myself as a character, reader, and author in the most immersive story I'll ever experience, my life. It's really dissociative, but can make what would otherwise be a hell an entertaining experience. Though I won't go into that for now. Simply, anytime I think I'm being too attached to a plan, all I have to do is say to myself, fuck it, let's go baby, the fun is in the unscripted adventure. Honestly, being able to accurately compute the future is an advantage. I'm grateful for, especially now I can use its powers without paying the price of PPP. An analytic like myself is pretty good at planning and anticipating the branching possibilities of the future, though I've been shown time and time again that no matter how good your plans are today, you'll manage to create a better one tomorrow. The plan in itself isn't as useful as the act of making the plan. It's quite meta, but the process is more important than the result. On that note is why I'm cancelling the no-show. Who knows, it may come back in some form in the future, but there are zero plans for that. Instead, it's being replaced with a new show called The Life of a Software Engineer. I recently found out that companies like Google actually pay real dollar in the UK, as well as US. A senior Google engineer will come in at over 200k, which is double to triple what you can expect to make at even well-paying London-based tech jobs of similar expectations. I never thought it was worth applying in the past, as according to Glassdoor it pays less than what I could make at a company where the acceptance rate isn't 0.2%. Now I've got credible info on me the real salaries I'm more than interested in applying. Problem is that there is zero chance I would even make it through the door with my accomplishments thus far. Today, 6 months of experience and one cool but technically shaky project for a small client and a series of uncompleted projects. So I actually need to get my head down and use all the ability I have to actually get something down to my name. So I'm going to be in work demon mode from now till the end of 2021. Part of that will be me making software educational content and building up my online presence as a software engineer who really knows his shit. I know I will not have the time to make a fun, lighthearted YouTube channel dedicated to all the fun I get up to if I'm actually only just grinding away with work. Though I can easily make a YouTube channel partially dedicated to documenting my grind to becoming a notable software engineer.